Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Many people would argue whether or not King Ghidorah was ever really a big threat or a challenge to Godzilla. I mean, the idea was there, the look was there, very imposing and intimidating kaiju. But a lot of times Godzilla seemed to handle him well. Now yes, of course, he had help, Rodan, Mothra. But later on, he seemed to take on Ghidorah one-on-one and didn't really have any issues. Of course, anybody would mention to me, hey, how about Kaiser Ghidorah? Well, right now I'm just talking about plain old gold Ghidorah. And by the time you're done arguing as to whether or not he was ever a big challenge for Godzilla, you would immediately start a new argument over his name.
Ghidorah.
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 Ghidorah. Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah. Ghidorah. King Ghidorah.
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 Ghidorah. Ghidorah. Ghidorah.
Ghidorah.
Ghidorah. Ghidorah.
Ghidorah. King Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah.
Ghidorah, Ghidra, Ghidorah. His name has been said many times, and well, I grew up knowing him as Ghidorah, and I had been saying his name like that for so long that, well, that's just how I say it. Of course, this angers a lot of people, and some of you viewing this video might be angered as it is right now. But what's in a name? I mean, after all, it doesn't matter how you say his name. His actions, his look, his design, his origin, that's what really makes this monster. The initial idea for Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, came from Tomoyuki Tanaka, also the creator of Godzilla, as many of you know. Now, some people think his inspiration, or the inspiration behind Ghidorah, was from an old Russian movie depicting a multi-headed dragon. But you'd be wrong. It came from an illustration of the Liarnian Hydra in a book about Greek mythology and the Orochi of Japanese folklore. So you could say that Ghidorah is an inspirational hybrid of Greek and Japanese storytelling. Tanaka was enamored with the idea of Godzilla fighting a multi-headed serpent, but considered 7 or 8 heads to be way too much. Thus, he cut it down to 3. The final version was an armless 3-headed dragon with large wings, 2 tails, and of extraterrestrial origin. He was re-envisioned as a trio of diminutive, genetically engineered creatures called Dorats, owned by a group of humans from the 23rd century known as the Equal Environment Earth Union. Of course, you guys all remember this, the famous M11, a group of dedicated to equalizing the power of Earth's nations. In GMK, and so far, the only movie depicting Ghidorah as a good guy, one of 3 guardians of Yamato, originating 1,000 years before the events of the film. He was awakened to halt Godzilla's destruction of Tokyo, was defeated in the movie, then revived and empowered by Mothra. Now, we've seen these revivements and these empowerments before. Of course, Godzilla getting his power and being revived by Fire Rodan, or Biollante using the G-cells to revive herself, and even Space Godzilla getting some of the G-cells in space where he was born. Ah, the sharing of cells, or power. But Ghidorah to this day remains probably, I would say, the top villain in Godzilla's rogue gallery. I mean, as I said, for me personally, he flip-flops between Mechagodzilla, but I gotta say, when you have his unique look, and we have seen how powerful they can make him, when you look at movies like Godzilla Final Wars and the Mothra trilogy, I mean, and of course now, looking at all the TV spots and the trailers for Godzilla King of the Monsters, you gotta imagine he's gotta be the top dog at this point, right? I mean, even though Godzilla's blown off his head before, he has needed help from other kaiju just to defeat Ghidorah. So I guess that's got to put him somewhere. And in Destroy All Monsters, he pretty much fought every monster on Monster Island, And well, I don't know if it was really a fight. I mean, towards the end of it, they were all pounding and kicking on him. I actually felt bad for Ghidorah. But at the end of the day, this is the top dog for Godzilla to face, and we're going to see him face the American iteration of Ghidorah, who so far looks very menacing, very intimidating, and absolutely overpowered. I mean, this monster carries a hurricane with him, category 10 style, wherever he goes, with yellow lightning. And of course, there's that one shot in the TV spot where he's standing in the middle of the city and he spreads his wings and lights up the sky. Boy, am I looking forward to seeing him on the silver screen in a couple of weeks. But Ghidorah obviously was a fantastic creation, one of the more original monsters in their roster. There's no other monster in there that has 3 heads. There's no other monsters in there as big as he is. And he's probably the only monster that ever required a whole party of other kaiju just to take him down. And then on top of that, every time he did face Godzilla, he had to deal with Rodan or Rodan and Mothra. Then of course in his own series with Mothra, I think the question there was who was more overpowered, Mothra or Ghidorah? Of course in that series he was known as Des Ghidorah. He's just such a great monster, and I know many of you are looking forward to seeing him in a couple of weeks, as am I. So I hope you enjoyed this little tidbit on Ghidorah, the monster that we expect to challenge Godzilla for the King of the Monsters in a couple of weeks. But I think we all know what the outcome is probably going to be. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Come back tomorrow for the next episode of 30 for 30. And until then, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page.